Two-Bit! Two-Bit, are you awake?
What do you want?
I know you're still mad at me, but I have something to cheer you up. It's a Star Wars game. In fact, it's a Star Wars game based on the best Star Wars movie.
Ugh, whatever, man. There's nothing you can say to bait me into going along with your sick game.
Don't you even care to know what the game is? Two-Bit. I thought you might feel this way, so I called up a very good friend of mine, and he wants to talk to you.
Holy moly, it's the real George Lucas, but... Wait. Why are you here?
I came to help my friend convince you to play a very special game. A game based on the best Star Wars movie ever made.
Empire?
Not quite, my friend. Empire was great, but it really didn't have very much about trade policy.
Oh god, no.
My favorite child in the glorious game that it birthed onto the PlayStation and PC. That is how I met your landlord, after all. He is the president of the Phantom Menace Appreciation Club, and I'm here on official capacity to spread the good word about Episode 1.
Landlord? Is that what he told you? Well, let me tell you...
Silence!
Oh god, you really do that. I knew it!
Georgie, baby. This guy hasn't paid me rent in like 7 months. Can you just ask him nicely to do a review?
He doesn't have to say anything. I'll do this review. But I want to let Georgie here in on a few things. Regardless of the popular opinion, I actually didn't think Phantom Menace was that bad.
Not that bad. It was a masterpiece. A delicately intertwined love story about politics, bureaucracy, trade policy, and slapstick comedy. And if you think I came all the way down here just to listen to you bash it...
Silence! I can't forgive you for what you did to poor Indy, or the fact that you sold Star Wars to slavers. So I'm gonna Crystal Skull fuck this review while he watches. Star Wars The Phantom Menace is a third-person action-adventure game published by LucasArts and developed by Big Ape Productions. It was released for the PC on April 30th, 1999, and later ported to the PlayStation on August 31st, 1999. It is a tie-in to the first film in the Star Wars prequel trilogy of the same name. Now, regrettably, I was not able to find too much on this game's development. One thing I was able to dig up, though, is an interesting story involving UK's official PlayStation magazine. The magazine's issue number 46 was a celebration of Star Wars, with 4 different collectible covers, a 6-page look at the upcoming movie, and an exclusive 5-page review of the film tie-in game. Some quotes from this review read as follows, and hold on to your butts, folks. Ultimately, Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace is a triumph! It is the most thorough, most accurate version of a film game ever conceived. With both movie and game in tandem, Episode 1's force will be with you always. They ended up giving the game a 9 out of 10. A fucking 9 out of 10. It was later revealed that the staff members of UK OPM were flown off to Skywalker Ranch on an all-expenses-paid trip. This took place prior to the Star Wars issue hitting newsstands, but after the game's release, and after other reviewers got their hands on the game, it became apparent that UK OPM had stretched the truth just a little bit on their review. This hurt their credibility quite a bit, and during this time UK OPM was already on their last leg, with the PlayStation heading into the sunset, and the PlayStation 2, an official PlayStation 2 magazine, just around the corner. So, was UK OPM's contemporaries wrong? Is The Phantom Menace on PlayStation truly a 9 out of 10 game? Well, we're about to find out as we at last review this game. The controls handle slightly more fluid than tank controls, which were prevalent in the PlayStation era. And when I say slightly, I mean barely, as your character still moves very stiff when running, jumping, or attacking. But just like many games from that era, after playing for a while, you will grow accustomed to this setup. The game places you in a top-down third-person view, which is bad for an action-styled game as you can't see too far ahead of yourself. This means you will constantly be surprised by groups of enemy. The platforming is made difficult because of the top-down view. It makes it hard to judge certain jumps, especially the leaps of faith, so get ready for a lot of death drops. The game lets you play 4 characters depending on what level you are on. You can play Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn, Jedi Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi, Queen Amidala, also known as Padme, and Captain Panaka. There's not much difference between them except for the Jedi, as they have lightsabers, the ability to double jump, and force push. The non-Jedi relies solely on blasters, rockets, thermodetonators. Panaka has an exclusive weapon, a heavy blaster, the strongest blaster I would say that's in the game. Padme has one as well, the Hydro Spanner. It shocks droids until they blow up. And honestly, it sucks. When you play her, as soon as you get the chance, find a blaster. Interestingly, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon can pick up and use blasters and the other obtainable weapons in-game.
So uncivilized.
The attacks with these weapons are pretty straightforward. Just press the action button on your controller. If you are shooting at the general direction of an enemy, the blasters will auto-aim on them for the most part. Lightsabers can slash through just about any enemy and deflect blaster shots. You have the standard health bar that can be refilled with back-to tanks and health kits. The Jedi have a force meter that recharges after a period of time. Your enemies are battle droids, destroyer droids, disgruntled guards, Jawas, Tusken Raiders, random mercenaries, droid tanks, and of course Darth Maul. The enemy AI is pretty stupid. Their danger lies in their numbers and the top-down view, hindering you from seeing them. Darth Maul will spam attacks over and over again, so it's best just to get in a few pot shots on him and then immediately back away. Destroyer droids have a shield on top of their high health, so it's best just to avoid them when you can. Droid tanks are, from what I can tell, invincible. The best strategy I used here is to duck and cover and then maneuver around them. The game has side quests available throughout the levels. They are a nice little addition and expand the gameplay. Everything comes together in a mediocre to poor package. The controls are very stiff, the overhead view puts you at a disadvantage, and honestly, the action boils down to button mashing during the lightsaber battles. I won't say the controls are broken, they do work, it's just their application is poor on the PS1 version. Gameplay gets 1 bit out of 4.
Hey, 1 bit? That's out of line.
You're at my house now, Georgie, so sit down and shut the hell up. I feel like a broken record, but LucasArts never seems to slack when it comes to the sound and music of games. All the music from the movie is present in clear and crisp form. The sound effects are great too. Lightsabers, blasters, and explosions all have weight to them, and the voice acting, honestly, is so-so. I do like that some of the actors camped it up, but some others sound rather flat. Cool little factoid, some LucasArts alumni actors have cameos in this game, like Heidi Shannon, who voiced Mara Jade in Mysteries of the Sith, and Doug Lee, who voiced Indiana Jones in both The Infernal Machine and The Search for Atlantis.
This is Mara. I finished my patrol, nothing to report. As usual.
Back away slowly and carefully and keep your hands where I can see them.
Listen, Gennady, you don't happen to have any socialist vodka on hand? I'm thirsty.
Thank you for rescuing me. They were taking me to be interrogated.
With all that said, my final tally for Phantom Menace's sound is 3 bits out of 4.
Most of the colored passkeys. You'll need to find...
What do you think about that, George, huh? How do you feel about the sound in this game?
Well, I
said shut up!
Well, I never.
Oh boy, where to start? Well, first, the game, it looks bad. And it's not just because it's an old game. Look at this comparison between the PC version and the PlayStation. The graphics are downgraded and there's quite a bit of screen tear throughout the game. Besides those glaring issues, the game in its entirety has been ported over from the PC, and it's impressive that the PlayStation development team did not compromise on that. Most PC to console ports of this era would have whole levels or features cut out. This game delivers diverse levels based on locations from the movie, especially Mos Espa and the Pod Racing Stadium. These two in particular deliver what I feel is a very immersive experience and really made Mos Espa feel like a living, breathing city. The level design is somewhat linear and does a decent job of keeping you on track while allowing you a little bit of space to explore side areas and missions. One flaw in the level design is certain corners of a level will allow you to slip out of it, and you'll fall to your death. This is a glaring glitch in the game that was also present in the PC port. The story follows the movie to a T, touching on all the main plot points and expanding on the areas the movie didn't explore. This is mainly, I think, due to the development team wanting to add more playtime to the game. Some non-movie levels involve Obi-Wan rescuing Jar Jar, then later escorting Queen Amidala to her ship, or Qui-Gon having to search and trade parts for Anakin's pod racer, then getting pushed into a lethal deal with Jabba the Hutt. And finally, there's Captain Panaka exploring the underworld of Coruscant looking for a kidnapped Queen Amidala. These are all nicely placed additions that run parallel to the film's plot. UK official PlayStation Magazine, I believe, was correct in stating The Phantom Menace is one of the best film-to-game conversions. It strictly adheres to the movie's plot, well, minus the space politics. Presentation delivers for this game, but some flawed level design and choppy graphics hold it back from being a complete package. Phantom Menace presentation gets 2 bits out of 4.
Yes, my Padawan. The Sith has struck a mortal blow.
Hey, Phantom Menace for the PS1 is one of the most beautiful games ever created.
Yeah, if you plug your nose and you squint your eyes hard enough, even Bantha Poodoo could look like fine art. Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace is surprisingly a film-based game that's true to its source material. Other aspects, mainly the gameplay, hold it back quite a bit. But there are some high points to the game, like the interesting side missions, or the fully explorable Mos Espa, and then finally, my personal favorite, the final fight with Darth Maul, which was a lot of fun for me. My final verdict for Star Wars Episode 1 on the PlayStation is a recommended look for the casual and a suggested buy for the hardcore collector of the PS1. You can find it online for around $5 to $6. However, I do suggest taking a look at the PC port as, in my opinion, it's the definitive version of the game with superior graphics and gameplay. It can be found online as well for around the same price as the PS1 version. Well guys, that's it for this review. May the 4th be with you, and as always, stay safe and play on.
See what I mean, George? This guy is a terrible person.
I'm terrible? You forced me into captivity! You know, the fact that you love Phantom Menace so much is not that surprising, considering you're a deranged psychopath. Now, George, we need to discuss Jar Jar.
Sorry, there's no time. I gotta go.
And as always, stay safe.
And play all of my wonderful Star Wars games, especially The Phantom Menace.